Politics on Your Side at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Carrie Layer. Driving north on Highway 55, you can't miss the Avimor subdivision just outside of Eagle. The community is turning a lot of heads because of how they've created a hometown feel without depending on others to help them grow. Don Nelson explains in tonight's State of 208.
It really is fascinating how Avimor has become this self-sustaining, self-sufficient community. From their water to construction to recreation, it's all right there just like they planned it. In this State of 208, it's easy to see how this could be the model for future development in the foothills. But way before it became Avimor, it was home to the MacLeod family. Colin MacLeod was a Scottish immigrant who purchased the land back in 1916.
The MacLeod family made their living in the foothills. The road that came up out of the valley that served Idaho City and Pearl, see that flat spot up there? That was the road. That was the toll road. And so that's why the porch is on that side of the house.
Decades later,
Avimor is really the first planned community of this scale. We use about 60% less water than the typical home in the valley.
And just like 100 years ago, water is the key ingredient to success. Conserve and reuse.
We don't want a single drop of water to go to waste.
In order to do that, a water reclamation facility had to be built.
We want to reuse every drop. So rather than drop it in the creek and eventually the Boise River, we store it in an underground aquifer, and then the next season we can pull it up for the irrigation season.
It's not just the water. Construction materials are not thrown away but recycled. They even have their own quarry.
So we're now mining all of our own gravel, our landscape rock, almost everything. It's going to take, over the course of our lifetime, it'll be hundreds of thousands of trucks that won't be coming up the canyon to deliver rock to us.
Speaking of the highway,
eventually the light gets replaced and we'll put ramps and stuff, so you won't have to slow down. You'll be able to go through. And so we're working on a tiered system with ITD.
Next to the original homestead is the new home of the Eagle Rodeo, but things will be changing because in just a few years there are plans to move the rodeo up to the plateau right over there. And why not? The MacLeod family loved the rodeo and they loved this land.
It's important to the family. You know, when we're done, we'll have somewhere around 18,000 acres of untouched foothills other than the trails that go through them, and a substantial fund to care for all those lands.
But for now, you can ride the many miles of bike trails that wind through the hills, enjoy a glass of wine at the soon-to-be-finished vineyard and tasting room, which, by the way, will be in the old homestead, and toast with friends at a newly anticipated event center in the old Red Barn. As they say up here, fresh air, fresh ideas. Don Nelson, 6 on Your Side.
Well, time now to